Hey everybody, and welcome back to Koi Pond Lifestyle. Apart from my hoodie, yes, because it's getting cold now, temperature's starting to drop in the pond, what have we got on this week? Covers. I've got to get better at when I store my covers, storing them properly, because every winter, or beginning of winter, I always go to the covers and find that there's things missing off them. So I've got an end cap here missing. That's here. Found it down the side of the pond, so that's going to be reattached. I'm finding some of my locking bolts missing from when I put them away. I think basically what happens is I put the damn things away and I go, great, chuck them away, yeah, great, summer's here and the pond's going to start getting warm and see the fish and hello, and then forget about getting them properly stored, so that when I come to this time of year I'm going to faff around finding bolts and reattaching things. I mean, even on this bit here, look what's going on there. So I've got to get all these sorted out, because you know you're going to see a lot of pond prepping videos real soon. Everybody's going to be prepping and getting ready for the big day when you basically say goodbye to your fish. Go ta-ta, covers go on, and we say c'est la vie to an open pond as is today, because the covers need to go on to stop the frost, try to maintain a bit of heat. To be honest, when I first put these covers on, I thought, I'll be able to put them on, they'll hold the heat that I put them into. No, they don't. These poly covers behind me here, in my opinion, in my pond, they don't hold the temperature. They'd hold it if I was heated, but I ain't. So if you think you're putting these poly covers on to stop it dropping any more of the temperature, they don't do that. Basically, the covers themselves are there to stop it freezing, because you don't want your water freezing. So they stop all the water freezing on top and reduce the wind chill. So that's about it, really. I thought these covers, I thought these things were going to save me loads of heat, but they don't. They basically just stop the thing freezing. But I thought, you know, I hear you say, yeah, but moving water never freezes. Good point. However, in the daytime, when it's below 10 degrees and I've stopped feeding them and the covers are on, I don't have my air running. I turn my air off for 12 hours of the day, so it only runs through the night time. It comes on from 7 PM to 7 AM. It's the only time that the air is running, and reason for that is because cold water holds a lot more oxygen than warm water. So as soon as the water drops right off, whatever oxygen you put in over those 12 hours is maintained in the water because the water's colder. So again, you know, there's a lot of cost saving that we're going to have to make this winter without putting the fish at risk. And one of those that I should be doing is turning off my UV. Don't need the UV. The sun's not going to be out. Okay, it's out today. UV's on today. But as soon as we start losing the sun, as soon as the pond's covered, and I'm not looking for that extra bit of quality, I'm going to turn it off. To be honest, even if it goes green, because it doesn't affect the fish if it goes green, that's not a major problem. You know, the fish can live in green water. In fact, to be honest, they probably prefer it. You know, they come from mud pits where it's always dead murky anyway, and so they don't really mind the green water. It's just us putting UVs on to keep these things nice and crystal clear, so you can see the fish as we're looking at them today. So the UV will be off. So UV off, the air to my system will be off for 12 hours of the day. To be honest, I'm thinking, do I reduce that again? I could do with maybe getting hold of an oxygen meter to see how much oxygen is in at the beginning of the 12 hours and how much oxygen is at the end of the 12 hours when it's off. Because if there's still loads, I can reduce that even more, because we've got to make cost savings on these ponds, guys. I'm hearing so many ponds at the moment that are shutting down because they're saying, I just can't afford this anymore. You know, even simple things like my skimmer that I don't use anymore. Got to try to look at how we're going to reduce that cost. So let's go on with fixing the polycarb covers, and then we'll just make sure that they're ready for when we go. And there's a couple of other things I need to look at as well. Oh, and a concern over winter that's bugging me a little bit. But no, we'll have a chat about it and see what you think. Cheese today. Anyways, excuse me. So I got 3 of these to fix today. Poly sheets that I use, 40mm, 15mm, got the 15mm B&Q, dead expensive, £60 a sheet, ridiculous. Wouldn't even cut it in half for me, couldn't fit it in my car. Yeah, different subject there. This sheet was donated by one of my subscribers, thank you John. He had this spare in his garden and said, I've seen you need a new cover, come and get it, if you want it, come and get it. So I did, went and got it, fantastic sheet, so again, thanks very much for that mate. So I've got to fix these up now, put some more ends on, find some more bolts, and then away we go from there. Let's crack on. Up, up. Now these are interesting because these are two little hinges that I put on as additions. So this is to really just hold they sort of sit like that when they're fitted on the side of the pond, and when you open it they flip down. So let me get these fixed and I'll show you what I mean about why these are on. Right, I've got these little locking bolts. I found some more locking bolts now so I can get them fitted in. But I was going to show you what these little swingy bits are for here. Anyway, new to the channel, these well, I got these fitted last year, and it was actually my brother that said, why don't you do this? Because I was having to lift the covers up to inspect or carry them off, and I couldn't hold them now, so I told me why not. Anyway, brother said, oh, put some of these on and they'll help lift it up, and I'll show you how it works now. So anyway, after frightening the life out of the fish, thinking it's winter, not yet guys, not yet, but it won't be long. So anyway, this is how these go on, and then this is how the system works to pick it up. So these are the little locking bolts that are literally just a threaded bolt that you just put into the hole there, and then you push these under the coping. And this is what holds it in place. Now there's a little issue with that because I've got this new light here that I fitted to generate some light around the pond. That's going to have to come off because I need to be able to get under the coping. So this is going to be a temporary thing, so we'll take that off as and when we put these on. But anyway, so these are locking nuts. But these here, when I want to pick the units up, like so, so these just swing down in place. And then you can, basically just view the fish, take the take the window cover off, you can see what's going on, and then when you're finished, fit down in place again. But like I said, these aren't going on yet because, okay, what is it today? Sort of 15 degrees, it was about 6 this morning, so the temperature's come right up again from first thing in this morning. But it's not cold enough yet for me to put these covers on. I want to see the fish as much as possible. This is why I've got the fish. I want to enjoy them as much as possible. And like I said earlier, the only reason I put these on is to stop the snow getting in, stop it freezing on the top because it takes the frost away, and remove the wind chill. That's the only reason I put these on. These don't maintain the temperature in there because they just don't. I thought they would at the beginning, but they don't. The sort of temperatures still go down to about sort of 6 degrees. Jeez, take my fingers off. Right, chance to eat my dinner with the bear. Cheesy oatcakes. Can't beat them. Anyway, moving on. Winter concern that I have this year. I've not had this before. No, I think I did. Back in September 2019, when I first put the pond in, I introduced 2 fish to the pond in September, October time. I think it was October, more like mid to late October. Temperature started dropping. Fish didn't make it through the winter. They were gone. They were dead by February. So they nearly made it through. I've forgotten what they were now. Anyway, so my concern this winter is my new shower. Why am I concerned about that? So my concern is that fish was brought up for the first few years of its life in a heated pond, 20-ish degrees, 20 plus degrees. Andy, when he had the shower, he heated his pond, mahusive fish, etc. So this will be the first winter that this fish will go through without being in a heated pond, because this is not heated, and I have no intentions of heating it because due to the costs. So I've said in the past, you know, I was considering heating the pond, and then I've rapidly changed my mind after we're seeing what's going to happen with the bills to do this. So yeah, a little bit of a concern with how my shower is going to get through winter, being used to over 15 degrees, you know, 15, 20 degrees. I'm not really sure what he used to do in winter with his temps and with his heating. I don't know, I'll have to ask him next time I see him. But yeah, so that's my little concern I have with my shower. It's been its first winter in the pond. If any of you have experienced this before, then by all means, you know what to do. Comment below. But at the moment, yeah, it's just a slight concern I have with my new big fish that wasn't cheap having its first winter. The rest of the fish have done multiple winters in the pond before now, so these are pretty hardy fish. But I don't know about that one because it's never done a winter. Waffle, waffle, waffle. Let's get on with something else. Right, filter floss. I'm debating whether to not use any filter floss over winter, because I won't be feeding them, because it'll be below 10 degrees and there's no food going in. So I might save a bit of filter floss and not just be chucking it in. But at the moment, you know, it's still doing a cracking job. It's taking all the fines out. It's making the water look really good. Still thinking about the Tempest. You know, a lot of people are just saying how good they are, and everybody that's got one has said, yeah, it's one of the best things I ever bought. But it's where it's going to go. I've always said it's going to have to go into the garage, because that's the best place for it to go. This filter system itself isn't tall enough to fit one of those things in. Plus it'll keep it out of the sun, so the algae growth that they've always had problems with won't have a problem with it. So yeah, if and button. But yeah, so filter floss. So I'm still changing to filter floss. In fact, I'm getting quite low on the roll at the moment, so I might pop over to see my man at the filter floss place. I'll leave a link or the address and the email of where he does, and he delivers all over the country. You get a massive roll of this filter floss for pennies really. It's not very expensive, you know, a few 20-30 quid sort of thing. Well, it was last time I bought it. Where the price has gone up and I don't know, but so yeah, so filter floss, I'm not going to use that through winter, I don't think, but I think there's only going to be a couple more videos and then we're actually putting the pond to bed. So as and when that happens, I'll be videoing that and you'll be able to see how I do that, and then decide between yourselves if it's something you would do as well. So anyways, oh, and while we're talking about filters, when I was at the Dudley show, I was talking to Stuart, one of my viewers, who were cracking conversation we're having about filters and how they're working, and we got on talking about overflows, and I was trying to describe how my overflow system works in my Multibay. And I went through some videos to see if I'd actually done it before, and I don't think I've actually described how I've done my overflow. So to stop anything overflowing, I built in an overflow system into my Multibay. So let's talk about that now. Right, let me just turn this air off before I do this. You won't hear a word I'm saying otherwise. Right, overflow system. In my Multibay system, Cockney Koi, 10,000, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, when we put this in, we decided that we needed some sort of an overflow system if we had heavy rains, if my trickle in trickle out system, I forgot to turn it off one night and it went too high, etc, etc. So what we decided to do was put a hole into the side of the multi-bay system, and then add a pipe which has had a bend on it into here. So this basically goes down and then out that side there, and then we can then control what levels there can be in the pond. So if I stand it up bolt upright like so, the level will be a little bit deeper. If I wanted it to not quite, I would turn it over a little bit, and the further wherever we turn it, then the water can flow into it. This thing is to stop the media going down it, because when I first put it on, I was finding that the media, when the levels were coming up, that I was losing loads of media down there, and it was ending up down the drain. So I put this is from an old swimming pool filter system, you know, those bigger ones that you have with a pump for your garden. So I just nicked that, slipped it in there, and now no media goes down the plug hole. So that's pretty good. So the whole system itself, like I say, that as soon as the water overflows, it then goes along the pipe, down the bottom, pops out the end there, runs all the way down and to the grid. And like I said, I can control it from there. I can control the depths. I can control it with lots of different levels, depending on what I want. If I want the pond filling, then I'll do that. Sometimes if I empty my sky pond but I want to keep the water, I'll block that off so it completely fills the system, and then I can use that water, save wasting it, when the sky pond is emptied. So there you go, Stuart, that's how I do it. Whether it helps you or not, I've no idea. Hopefully so. Right, so I'm going to leave my covers off for a little while longer. To be honest, I'm going to try to leave them off as long as possible, because the poly covers, I mean, like I say, the sun's been out a little bit today, so I've had a little bit of sun on the pond today, but the poly covers stop the UV getting through to keep the temperature in the pond. So I'm a little bit dubious. I know some people, I think Vince at Twisty Koi, he puts perspex sheets over his pond, which would be better because they let the UV through, whereas these poly covers don't. So those things are going back behind the shed. Now I know they're fixed and ready to roll. So when I need to use them in anger, sky pond will come off. That'll be have a good clean out and go back into the garage, and then the poly covers can come straight out. I can get them on within 10 minutes. So I'm going to wait until everything dips right down. Maybe stop and wait until I stop feeding, because at the moment I'm still feeding the wheat germ, because I'm just below 15 degrees now. I think pond temperature's about 13ish, 12, 13 degrees. So I'm not at 10 at the moment. So I'm going to keep chucking bits of food in as long as I can until I go below 10 degrees, then stop. And on that bombshell, thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, ding the bell for notification, share to all your friends. Thanks very much for watching. This was Koi Pond Lifestyle.